Hello everyone, welcome back to the Oblivious Gamer. So with the Game Awards having just wrapped up about a week or so ago, I wanted to talk about my most anticipated games for 2025. So I normally play indie games, deck builders on the channel, but there's a lot of other games that I enjoy that I don't spotlight here that I kind of wanted to talk about, the ones I'm looking forward to, maybe show you some things you haven't seen before to be excited about. So let's get into it.
First, let's start with an honorable mention, Okami 2. I absolutely love Okami. Beautiful art style combined with amazing music and the attention to detail of every area and character. It all blends together to make such a timeless game that even now still looks great. Don't even get me started about the unique brush combat. The only thing I've ever played that's even similar is Wonderful 101. And I know some people get annoyed with that kind of motion drawing style combat, but I love it. I think it's super unique and fun. And suffice to say, when I heard the drums and saw the colors of Okami burst onto the screen at the Game Awards, I couldn't help but get hyped. Now I know that we know so little about this game and if it's even releasing next year in 2025, so I'm not putting it in the top 5 officially, but I couldn't help but talk about it. Now moving on to the actual list, at number 5, Mugenics. As someone who has sunk over 1,000 hours into The Binding of Isaac and is currently working towards his second Dead God save file, you could say I'm a bit of a fan of Edmund McMillen. Now with Isaac finally behind him after that amazing Repentance DLC, his next project is a game you might not have heard of called Mugenics. The Steam page for this game describes it as a legacy roguelite draft sim about cats, which is quite the tagline if I do say so myself. And in interviews, he's discussed the endless possibilities for evolutions and unique traits your cat units can get. What really interests me as well is the day system that seems to be in place. Is this going to be similar to Darkest Dungeon with managing a team of heroes over a long campaign, or is it more just to track what level you're on? Either way, I have full faith in Edmund to bring us something disgusting and amazing at the same time. Number 4. Slay the Spire 2. I know in the intro I said I was going to spotlight games I wouldn't normally play on the channel, but for Slay the Spire 2 I had to make an exception. The first Slay the Spire is a game that will go down in history as one of the best roguelikes and one of the best deck builders of all time. Even though I haven't fully warmed up to it, I have to respect the insane replayability and variety in its 4 classes and just how unique they all are. Within each class, there are multiple viable builds, and it feels extremely well polished and thought out compared to some of our deck builders. Slay the Spire 2 looks to be another chapter of this great game, and although it looks similar gameplay wise, the visuals have received a huge upgrade, which is a big selling point for me. Looking at the enemy and character designs shown here is getting me really excited about the variety this game is going to bring to the table. The real question is, will it have the staying power of the first game, or is it just going to be popular for a little while until people return to their original? Number 3. Doom: The Dark Ages. The Doom reboots of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal have been absolutely stellar. The thrilling, fast-paced combat that forces you to constantly be moving and switching weapons to survive looks to be back in this third installment. I really enjoyed how in Doom Eternal your movement was increased so much to the point that you could move from one end of an arena to another in seconds. Despite this insane movement, I never felt like the game was too easy, and even on the normal difficulty, the enemies are relentless. This new medieval setting looks awesome, and seeing the new weapons look brutal. How about a gun that turns skulls into bullets? Or how about Captain America's shield, but with built-in spikes? What about a giant Evangelion mech? Oh, and that's not cool enough for you? How about a freaking dragon? Yeah, this game's going to be another amazing power fantasy, I can already tell. Plus, I have to say, that cape the Slayer is wearing rivals any cape from Game of Thrones. Don't at me. Number 2. Subnautica 2. Subnautica is one of the scariest games I've ever played. Oh, you don't believe me? Here's some proof. No. Why is it so big? I'm getting out of here. I love horror games, but I've become desensitized to the jump scares in them. A lot of times in modern horror games, jump scares are overused or too predictable to really get much of a reaction out of me. However, to this day, Subnautica scares me like no other game. There's something uniquely terrifying about knowing the encounters with giant apex predators aren't scripted and that they can be anywhere around you in a 3D ocean space. I didn't play Below Zero, but I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it compared to the first game. However, I'm confident that the developers will learn from their failings in that game to scare me once again in Subnautica 2. Plus, it's apparently going to have co-op, which sounds great, because that means I don't have to swim faster than a Leviathan, just faster than my friends. For number 1, I'm doing something a little special. I'm going to give it to 2 games because of how intertwined they are. Little Nightmares 3 and Reanimal. Let's start with Little Nightmares 3. Little Nightmares has been my favorite horror game franchise since the first one released 7 years ago in 2017. Everything about it captivated me. The unique and terrifying world, the deep lore of each of the characters, and the beautiful music. I've watched so many theory videos about the game in an effort to understand everything hidden within it. By the way, check out It's Just Jord on YouTube for some of my favorites. The second game continued that trend, and I loved it even more than the first. But when Tarsier Studios, the creators of the game, announced they were moving on to something else, I was happy for what they created, but sad that we might never see the world of Little Nightmares again. I was overjoyed when the first trailer for Little Nightmares 3 dropped and was announced that Bandai and Supermassive were taking over the franchise for a third installment. This one looks to take us to many more varied locations than the first game, like a carnival and a desert. Similar to Subnautica 2, it will be also playable in co-op, with each player controlling one of the new children, Lo and Alone. I cannot express enough how excited I am for this game and how much I love this series. I just know there's going to be so many great new creatures and moments in this game to pore over. But I just couldn't give it the top spot on its own because soon after Little Nightmares 3 was announced, Tarsier Studios announced their next project, a game called Reanimal. This game looks like a much darker, if that's even possible, version of Little Nightmares, with twisted animals and people that are all trying to kill off the main characters. This game looks like the evolution of Little Nightmares that Tarsier worked toward with their first 2 games, and it genuinely looks chilling. I already have so many questions about the game and its world, similar to Little Nightmares, which clearly shows the talent Tarsier has at making compelling stories. I've seen a lot of people trying to compare the 2 games, but I don't really see the point. I just know we are going to get 2 amazing new horror experiences in 2025.
I thought you were dead.
Thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below. What are you most excited for this year? Tell me if you think Hollow Knight Silksong is going to come out. We can only hope. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Bye.